All right, Shalom.
The suffering
First
is
and
going to get
foremost,
a lot.
I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rachahakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakatham. And I'm just going to title this, whatever you have coming to you, you deserved it, okay? You earned it, all right? Something along those lines, okay? And I want to speak about the update into what's happening in the earth with the economic situation and people getting antsy and nervous about, where their food is coming from and what's going to happen next and who should be in office and all of this unimportant things without what you missing the bigger picture, which is the Lord is getting ready to move on the earth. Okay, that these are the beginning of plagues that are getting ready to come for every man, woman, and child. All right, on the planet, especially America. And if you don't take heed, all right, a great horrific judgment is coming for you. This is what we're here to tell you. Okay, this is the reason the Lord woke up His men from the 1960s back to Abba Bivens, okay, all the way up to today through YouTube. All right, nothing is happening in vanity. Okay, let's play some of this video from the beloved brother Arrows of Indignation, and you'll see where this is going.
It's not because the President of the United States has failed. The suffering is going to get a lot worse. Not because the President of the United States has failed to make the shutdown painless. He's tried to do everything that he can to make it as unpainless as possible. He's tried to do everything that he can. To make it as unpainless as possible.
Now, the slip up there is he said unpainless. And he said the pain is going to get a lot worse. Okay, and he's right. Okay. There may be a point in time where you get a little bit of relief from your comfort, but it's immediately going to be met with tribulation, okay? Judgments, mischiefs, okay, the scriptures speak about. All right? And you cannot say that we didn't warn you, because now you got people like Drewski mocking us, but that's fine. Okay, you got these bandwagon Israelites, okay, that join because they thought it was a fad, or they scoff and they mock or they think it's funny on a comic board. Okay, all you comic board warriors, the judgment that's coming for you, just know that you earned it, man. Okay, this is Malachi 3:13. It says verse 14. Let me see. Yeah, verse 14, it says, "Ye have said it is vain to serve the Most High." Okay? And what profit is it that we have kept His ordinance? Okay? And so you got guys like O'Shea Dude Jackson that just don't get it. Okay? Why are you doing this? This makes y'all look bad. We don't care how it looks to this world. We're not of this world. We're not for this world. Okay? What y'all doing, y'all look crazy. You would look better doing this. You would make more progress doing that. We ain't here to make progress, man. Okay? We're here to do a job to wake up the elect till the Lord destroys this place. The regime change and the solution is already on the way, because Jake is constantly going into other idols and gods and politicians to find a new way on easing his pain, his suffering. But there's only one way, the straight gate, man, and that's on the way already. Okay? And there's plenty of scriptures on that, but I want to stay on point. It says, "And what profit is it that we have kept His ordinance?" Okay, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord Yahweh of hosts. See, y'all are not walking mournfully. It was all good when EBT was loading up $2,000 a month. Okay, and you was getting child support, and you was getting, these other benefits. Okay. But now you're about to walk around mournfully, you people, okay, that forsook the Lord. It says that now we call the proud happy. Yeah, they that work wickedness are set up, and they that tempt the Most High are even delivered. And we've had to suffer and watch you this whole time, okay? Keisha with no teeth, still smoking Newports is doing better than you, man. A lot of our brothers, man. Okay, that is absurd. Okay, well you got an OnlyFans model that can make more than a doctor, man. This place is upside down. Okay, you can make more streaming, doing prank videos on as a streamer than you are being an engineer or doing something fruitful. Okay, it says verse 16, then they that feared the Lord Yahweh spake often to one another, and the Lord Yahweh hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before them that feared the Lord Yahweh. See? So the elect eventually get the word. They eventually get the truth. They eventually figure it out and get with the program. Okay? What do Yahweh Shai say? John 10:3, it says, to him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name and leadeth them out. So the by name, that's the elect. Okay? When we heard that call, we answered, man. Okay? And we went that way. We went that direction. Does it mean you don't misstep? No, but we turned around, which is repentance, and we walked that direction, which is the exercise of faith, your action. What are you doing? Okay, it's not enough to be on the comment board. It's not enough to tell a few people that they're Israelites here and there. Okay, you got to walk knowing that the Lord is pissed off, and are you doing everything that you could do that you appease His wrath? Okay, or propitiate, I should say. Big word. Look that word up. Verse 4, it says, and when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. Okay? You see? And so when you go back, when it says in a book remembrance, in Malachi 3:16, it says, and a book of remembrance was written before him that feared the Lord. That's the sheep, man. Okay? And that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them. So all of this turmoil y'all getting ready to go through, this economic hardship, these plagues. Don't get me wrong, that the brothers are going to have to go through their trial and tribulation, but ultimately they're going to be good, protected. Okay? It says, as a man spareth his own son that serveth them, and y'all wasted y'all time following after figures like Obama, okay?
We have some news right now. The Trump administration is emailing grocery stores across the country, telling them and reminding them that they cannot give special treatment, like subtle discounts, to individuals that rely on SNAP benefits during this difficult time for many Americans. Essentially, some groceries around the country started offering discounts for SNAP and EBT eligible Americans because they simply can't afford full price groceries at a time where SNAP benefits aren't being paid out. And now the Trump administration is emailing grocery stores across the country saying if they want to keep their SNAP EBT eligibility, then they have to comply with the equal treatment rule, which prohibits grocery stores from selling products to individuals eligible for SNAP at a reduced rate. But if you think about this equal treatment rule, it's designed to prohibit grocery stores from reducing the rate of food for SNAP payments, not giving discounts for individuals when SNAP payments are unavailable. And many are now saying that this is just cruelty on behalf of the Trump administration. And now grocery stores across the country are pulling any of these discounts it was giving those eligible for SNAP and food assistance. They waited until...
Yeah, you see? So he's throwing salt in the wound. Okay? And this here, it should prove to you that he was never to be trusted. You know where I'm going. All right? He was never to be trusted. But a lot of y'all are still not going to get it. Okay? Sirach chapter 12, verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent or such as come nigh wild beast? And we told you who that was. Okay? You didn't want to listen. Okay, go ahead and pet the bear, pet the snake. Okay? It says, So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? You are defiled, okay? All of you sellouts that sold out your men, okay? And it's not every single person on food stamps. Y'all be in the comment section getting mad as hell, you know, because y'all are on food stamps. Well, if it don't apply, let it fly, okay? There's nothing wrong with being on food stamps, but you know the individuals I'm talking about. You sellouts, okay? Who thought a life of downtrodden comfort, you know, you living in them projects rent free, basically. That was enough. That's all it took for you to destroy the family, okay, and walk around with an attitude, man. All right. It says, verse 11. It says, nope, Salakia. Verse 15. It says, for a while he abide with thee. For a while he will abide with thee. And see, he abided with you for a while. But if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Okay? All right. He like, well, the government shut down. Ain't nothing we can do. But he found money for the military. He found money to pay the FBI. He found $40 billion to give to Argentina. Okay? He's not abiding with you. Okay? It says, and an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. And see, J.D. Vance, that first clip, said he was they're trying to do this as unpainless as possible, but he slipped. Because unpainless means pain. Okay? So they try to speak, you know, sweetly, but what are they really doing? Okay, it says he will sweep with his eyes. Salakia, not sweep. It says he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. And see, it wasn't enough that he cut them EBT food stamps off. Now he's gonna tell the grocery stores to just don't serve these niggas. Don't give them no discounts. You can't even get a discount now. Okay, and why did he proactively email them to do this? Okay, he ain't got enough going on, but he had time for that. Okay, it says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Okay, and you've been undermined. You've gotten, the so-called black man is getting passports. He's getting up out of here. He's dealing with other women, races of women, or he's just shutting down and doing his own thing. You know, the height of pride of this place has gotten out of control, absolutely out of control. Okay.
Till people were already hungry and then made it harder to eat. The new Trump SNAP rules just kicked in, and they read like a manual for punishing poverty. If you're under 65 and you don't have kids, you now have to prove you work 80 hours a month just to keep food on your table. If you miss a single requirement, 3 months later, you're cut off. Veterans, homeless Americans, students, all shoved into a system that now demands proof of productivity before it gives you permission to eat. Parents used to be...
Yeah, get your ass back to work. All of this free food they throwing away, all of this money and resources and assets they've stolen and are still stealing. Okay? But they got an issue with you sitting on your ass. Now that is an issue, but the of you sitting on your ass all day, but the point is of hypocrisy. Okay? What do you think these Edomites are doing? Okay? Using taxpayer money, flying around in these jets, throwing these lavish meetings to dictate to you what you're going to do. Okay?
exempt if their kids were under 18. Now it's 14, because apparently a 15-year-old doesn't need dinner anymore. And it gets worse. Refugees and survivors of human trafficking, they just lost eligibility entirely. People who have escaped violence now have to starve in the country that they thought would save them. All while the USDA posts political rants blaming Democrats for health care for illegal aliens on its official website. 2 federal judges already ruled that cutting food aid like this is illegal. But those rules...
Yeah, you see? He just set you up, man. Okay? What did it say? He's imagined how to throw thee into a pit. Okay? Is that in the same precept? Oh, how did I miss that? Yeah, I just read it. Salakia. Okay. It says, but in his heart he will imagine how to throw thee into a pit. All right. And so this is what you have with all of these foreigners coming over here. Okay. How did these foreigners get here? Okay. What is it? 94, Psalms 94. I'm going to end it here. Psalms 94:3, Lord Yahweh, how long shall the wicked triumph? All right. And we're at the end, you know. So all you teachers that are mad, all right, just repent. Okay. And if you don't repent, then guess what? You earned what's coming next, which are these plagues. Okay. You're gonna be put into the category of the wicked when the Lord visits this place. And he is about to visit this place. All right. It says, how long, verse 4, how long shall they utter and speak hard things? Okay. Called you low IQ. All right. Say you're full of, what do they call it? Savages. Okay. Made up all kind of things. You know, we're aggressive. We're lazy. All right. We're dirty. We stink. You know, and they painted this image of you, and then they paid a percentage of you to engage into gang culture, okay, into twerking and baby mama culture, and they shine a spotlight on it, okay? And now they're justified. Every other nation feels good about stepping on you, okay? This is what happened. And you don't even realize it because you're rebellious and out of order. And there's consequences for that, okay? It says, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves. Okay, all these other nations. Okay, it says they break in pieces thy people, O Lord Yahweh, and afflict thine inherited, and afflict thine heritage. All right, and that's why America in its entirety is going to be destroyed. From what they did to the so-called Native Americans alone, man. Okay, to the so-called Latinos, and definitely to the so-called blacks. Okay. All of us got done horrifically, man, and dealt with harshly. It says, verse 6, they slayed the widow and the stranger and murdered the fatherless. And see, a lot of you coon niggas got into that church and just forgot about all of this. Just shoved it under the rug, man. All right? That don't make you a righteous man to shirk and turn your head away from evil. Okay? You let Esau convince you that that's you being compassionate and forgiving. But the Lord didn't forgive him. Okay? If he did, he wouldn't come back with a day of vengeance. Does a day of vengeance sound like the Lord forgave everybody? Okay? It says, yet they say the Lord Yahweh, verse 6, it says they slay the stranger and they slay the widow and the stranger and murder the fatherless. Okay? It says, yet they say, now who's the fatherless? Us. How do we become fatherless? Propaganda, meddling, these EBT food stamps, all of these various different things, man. Okay, there's a reason he targets the woman, because she's the weaker vessel. Okay, now there's no fathers. Okay, now you got a real degeneracy problem. Now you really got little monsters running around here now. Now he's really justified in bringing the sword. You see, it was all part of his plan, but the ultimate plan, which is to get all of us, including the elect, that's not going to happen. All right. And you want to be a part of the elect. All right. It says, verse 7, it says, yet they say the Lord Yahweh shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Okay. And a lot of you Israelites took on this same spirit. The Lord ain't coming back. Okay. The Lord ain't going to do nothing. You know, we got to start a bank. All right. Man, whatever these vain ideas that you have in your mind that's going to give you a so-called better life. There ain't no better life here, man. This ain't living, you know. Anyway, I'm going to end it there, Lord willing. This is edifying. Call hello Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rachakadah Shalom. Kwam Yasharallah.